He wrote about freedom for all, but he kept slaves in silence. What? What? Who is this guy? Well, you probably know him as the author of the words, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." He was the primary author of the United States Declaration of Independence, and at the time he wrote those words, he owned hundreds of enslaved people. Throughout his life, he wrote many powerful things about freedom and equality, but he also erased a lot of those words. Because when it came to the biggest moment of his life, when he was putting pen to paper to write the Declaration of Independence, he chose not to put in the words that he had written earlier. He didn't want to talk about how enslaved people were being treated unjustly, how they were suffering. He didn't want to talk about that, because he didn't want to divide the colonies. He wanted everyone to come together. He chose unity over truth. This is a story about Thomas Jefferson, one of America's most revered founding fathers. He was a slave owner. He owned hundreds of slaves. His own daughter described it as a moral conflict. She said her father was a man who defined freedom, yet he denied it to others. He wrote a powerful anti-slavery passage, but then he ripped it out of his draft of the Declaration of Independence. He crossed out the words, and he never explained why. But we have some pretty good guesses. First, it would have divided the colonies. The southern colonies relied heavily on the labor of enslaved people. If they had put those words in the Declaration, it could have started a fight that would have broken up the colonies before they even had a chance to become their own country. Second, it would have made him enemies. He was already in the good graces of the king. He didn't want to rock the boat, so he chose to leave those words out. If he'd left those words in, maybe things would have been different. Maybe we'd have a different history. But as we know, silence became law, and history followed. But those words didn't go to waste. They became part of a different founding document. In 1787, when James Madison was writing the United States Constitution, he put Jefferson's words into it. So although Jefferson didn't include them in the Declaration of Independence, his words ended up in the next founding document. And that is the hidden truth behind the words.